Hello and welcome everybody to Wednesday night race night here with Vigilante Racing League. We are coming at you live from the home of NASCAR, and that is Charlotte. And man, this track is lit as we're racing here under the lights. So we're in for a great show, especially based on the times we've been seeing here in practice. This is going to be a good, close, competitive fight up here at the top. Talking about a show, let's get this one started with tonight's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And thank you. And as always, we have to thank our proud sponsors. That would be D&D Race Graphix. That's Grafix. You can find them on Trading Paints and on Facebook as they do some, that's Mr. Ricky Wittenberg. He does a great job painting a lot of these cars and trucks and whatever they can drive here on this simulator. So be sure to let him know that, man, you'd like yourself a fancy schmancy new paint job on that automobile. So go ahead and see him over there, as well as his real life business of Keller Williams of Johnson City, Tennessee. Go ahead and give Ricky a call. He's been a busy man, but he wouldn't mind taking another call or two at 423-444-0454. Whether you're looking to buy or sell in that Johnson City, Tennessee area or across the country, he's got contacts. He can get you in touch with a realtor that you know you can trust and will get along with, because man, this housing market is absolutely insane. Do not go it alone. Get yourself a good quality realtor. I'm Alan Brown, and I'm joined as always about time. Took a little long at the snack bar, but I guess that line was a little long down there. But Mr. Alan English.
It was the popcorn line. I get some popcorn. And I was watching my pool cover about to blow away. We got some storms rolling in tonight. So if y'all lose me, it's because we lost power, not because I just decided I didn't want to watch Charlotte, which I really do. Tonight's going to be a great race. We're back to the mile and a halves. This track is full of history. It's the hub of NASCAR, as everybody knows. It's, the home of stock car racing as far as I'm concerned. A lot of the drivers very excited to get back to the ovals this week. There was some frustration from some of the drivers, not too many of them, about being on the road courses. And I know myself, the Turner, will be glad to be back on the ovals and talking some racing with you guys tonight.
And speaking of Mr. Adam Turner, he's down there on pit road, ready to call all the blazing hot action going on down there. Adam, how you feeling about tonight, buddy?
Wow, I'm feeling better than English's pool is right now. I didn't know you had a pool, but look at you, fancy. I know why you were late. You were probably trimming that beard in the green room there. I don't know.
I told you, I'm going to be digging this popcorn out of my teeth the whole race, too.
No, I'm looking.
Dog has some popcorn.
I'm looking forward to this one, dude. It's Charlotte. I call this one the crown jewel of NASCAR, man. I love Charlotte. A lot of cool racing, weird stuff happens here. Big crashes, big fun. One fast repair, you get 13 incident points, 13x, you're gone. We'll talk about that a little bit during the race. 70% fuel and 4 sets of tires. It is a night race. Cool out there on the track, 70 degrees. Shouldn't have too much slipping and sliding. And we're going to be real gripped up and ready to go, man. I'm looking forward to it.
That we are, as we take a look at tonight's race info. Like you said, Mr. Turner, a nice clear night here in Charlotte, which means that track is going to be super grippy. But other than that, everything's looking absolutely beautiful. And bringing us down to that key to the race is don't let the squirrel find a nut. We've seen it time and time again in these Xfinity cars, and we've been seeing it here in practice too, especially coming out of turn number 4. That back end will get loose on you, and man, if you're not quick on your feet and your hands, that thing will go wild on you.
You're coming out of 4. We talked a little bit about it the other night, me and Turner, when we were doing a little fuel mileage testing, but yeah, coming out of 4, you know, going into that quad oval section, that outside wall sneaks up on you real quick in that little kink, so you really gotta be wary of that, especially if you're too wide. I get a little nervous when I'm too wide right there coming out of 4.
Yeah, it feels like it tightens up almost like Michigan. It just, I think it's an illusion as a driver, the way the wall is and the way it turns, but definitely if you're in traffic, you better trust the guy next to you because it could get ugly right there. But yeah, it's going to be interesting right there out of 4, and then, you know, we'll just see how these guys handle the tires and do their thing. This is a standard 1.5 mile track, but it's a fun one. So very fast. So we'll see how they do it tonight.
You know what? We can watch where the black marks start to appear, and it's going to be right around where that black Cup Series sign is coming out of 4, going in that quad oval section. I think that's where we're going to see some tire marks start to appear.
As we are taking a look at some of these drivers as they make some of their laps, we caught Earl Evans on the face cam there just in time to see him jamming out to some sort of music or something. He's getting in the groove for tonight's race, as well as we saw Greg Dobson. We also have Jonathan Osborne as well joining us on the face cam, and we also have Mr. Chandler Paul, who's currently got a pretty good time up there set, currently sitting right around the 5th spot, but he's looking good out there in his Cult of Chaos 72 machine.
Love it. Love the team aspect that this league has going on, and there was some guys moving to some different teams here not too long ago. Eric Klafka went to the Vigilante Force team. So, and they have big teams here. Was it 5 cars max?
Yeah, I believe it is 5 cars. So, you know, they're really stacking these things up. I mean, we saw Timothy Pope join that Limitless team in the offseason, and that was a big move. And, of course, Eric Klafka just recently going over to that Vigilante Force team, and that's a big move. Klafka has been one of those very consistent guys that you can almost guarantee a top 15 out of him, but definitely starting to earn them some extra points, as well as, you know, we still got those just normal teams we got out there. We still have Goodweiser running around out there. I think they've only got a couple of handful of guys, and White Knuckle Racing, and everyone doing a pretty good job racing for their team and kind of coming together and sticking together.
Yeah, I want to shout out to the Numb Thumbs guys. I hope they're out there watching. Derek Welch, Mark Collins. They got a full crew out there, usually rooting them on, I think. Out over there at Numb Thumbs Gaming.
Yeah, that they are, is Jeremiah Burke trying to absolutely throw down a heater. Well, we just saw that back end get loose on him. Thankfully, it is just qualifying, so that's not going to hurt him too bad right now. Speaking of Numb Thumbs, here's the 223 of Mark Collins coming around to set his second lap here. Let's see if he can't improve upon his position. He does a bit, sneaks up into that top 10.
Dave Mayberry trying to pull hot rod. He's trying to stir up some stir up some rivalry over there on the Facebook page saying, hey, announcers, you're wrong. You're saying it wrong. It's not Limitless Motorsports. It's Limited Motorsports. Ooh.
Shots fired across the bow.
And, of course, Albert Anderson Jr. and Kathleen on there. Pulling for Albert tonight.
Oh, of course. Why wouldn't they be cheering for anybody else, as our drivers are starting to pull up and take to this grid? So how about we do our official grid rundown here tonight and tell everyone where their favorite driver is starting. That starts us off with Mr. Timothy Pope. Surprise, surprise. Starting on pole position here once again. He's going to be joined by Jason Ayerson on the outside. So we got one of the rookies this year pulling up some fast numbers for this first go around. We also got the 7 of Russ Kilgore starting up at the front. So Russ's qualifying woes may be behind him, with the 33 of Jess Vaught as well right next to him. You have the 3 of Austin Paul. He's going to be starting here in 5th, with the 2 of Albert Anderson, America's driver, in 6th. You have the 11 of Eric Klafka starting here 7th, with the 205 Jim Ott, who does have a win on the season. Look for him to maybe make some moves here starting in 8th. We have the 223 of Mark Collins starting here in 9th, with Canada's own Greg Dobson in the 285 running out tonight starting top 10.
Row number 6 is going to be the 51 of Michael Adamson on the inside, and the 72 of Chan the Man, Chandler Paul, to his right. You've got row number 7 is going to be Derek Welch on the outside, and on the inside right there on his left will be the 13 of Earl Evans. 753 of Jeremiah Burke going to be starting in 15th place. 16th will go to Jeff Ottinger in the 76 machine. Row number 9 is going to be the 4 of Deion Jones on the inside. To his right, Nathan Stanley in the NTG number 267 machine. Let's see who we got here. Row number 10 is going to be Tony Polk in the 222, and Jonathan Osborne to his outside in the 81.
And you got the 221 David Fight. He'll be starting their 21st. 22nd will be 211 to Chad McCabe, and then rounding it out there will be 57 of Russ Endicott. So pretty good field tonight. See if some of those guys in the back can make their way to the front.
And Charlotte, it's one of those tracks, man. You definitely want to try your best to start up at the front, but you can make up some ground here. It's not too difficult on the tires. I think we're going to be more interested in seeing how everybody's fuel run kind of plays out here as the race continues to roll along. And we've seen quite a few green flag laps from these guys here at these mile and a half, and I think we're in store for very much something of the same thing here tonight.
Yep, we'll see. We'll see the pit strategies start to rear their head here. Probably around lap 42, 43, something like that.
Unless you're just Vaught and it's lap 67 or something.
Yeah, his testing doesn't the same as our testing. English, I don't know what the computer's doing, but it's 133 laps, so we got 200 miles. I don't know. I'm not good at division. English, you are. I mean, you're the genius of all of us. What is that going to break it into 2 stops or 3?
Hang on, I gotta go check on something real quick. My weather radio is going on.
Oh no, the weather radio! God Almighty, we may lose him, Brown. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, we're gonna do one more pace around behind this pace car, making sure everybody gets stacked up and right where they need to be. So let's take a quick look at the points coming into this week. Jess Vaught still holding that lead. He does have Mike Adamson slowly creeping his way up, but man, look at that top 4. You got Jess Vaught up there. And then you got 3 Limitless teammates, Mike Adamson, Jeremiah Burke, and Timothy Pope, all trying to chase him down, followed by Jim Ott, who's, again, got one of those wins. Same thing with Kelly Keel. He's got a win. He's still up there. So, I mean, we're not even halfway through the season yet. So these drivers, everyone still has a chance. Bad luck can fall upon anybody. And this thing can really change things around as we now take a quick look at the current team standings, and Vigilante Force has started to close that gap on Limitless. as Team Limitless didn't have as many drivers here last week as Vigilante Force, so that's might come to cost them here at the end, but it's still, again, anybody's game. Just got to get a couple of races together and get a few teammates together here, and who knows, even Wicked Loose or any of these guys can sneak their way up that top of the leaderboard as the pace car prepares to pull down into pit road here. Getting ready to take for the first time that green flag. Timothy Pope, Jason Ayrson, side by side, entering that restart zone, and away we go. Off and running here at Charlotte, down and across the line, 2 by 2, still side by side as they head on down into turn number 1. Looks like Tim Pope got a really good jump there, leaving Jason Ayrson absolutely in the dust. Russ Kilgore is going to follow Tim right on through and take second away pretty easily, but now Jason's got to deal with the 3 of Austin Paul, who's looking to make his move on the inside here.
Y'all saw on that start, but I don't want to say that Pope was laying back, but it looked like Ayrson started to get about a car length ahead, and then as soon as the green flag dropped, Pope just took off and went around in there.
Yeah, what's crazy is Russ Kilgore's up there with him. That's pretty good. Oh, Russ he's had a pretty good season. We'll see if he can keep this quick pace up.
Yeah, he doesn't have to pass as many cars this week to get up near the front. He had a good qualifying run tonight.
Now, as we got all the action going on up at the front, few cars scraping that outside wall, and that won't be the last time we see them scrape that outside wall either. We got Jess Vaught and Austin Paul side by side. Same thing with Albert Anderson and Jim Ott. Eric Klafka side by side. So got a couple of teams fighting for that team championship here, going at it. Same thing with that Cult of Chaos car of Austin Paul, looking to get the Cult of Chaos their first podium spot here this season.
Klafka, I think he had a pretty decent finish here towards the beginning of this season, right? Or was it near the end of last season? It's hard to remember when that was.
It all blends together, but I know that he's one of those guys. You don't hear too much noise about him, and a lot of times in the racing world, that's a good thing because that usually means you're not wrecking. And Eric Klafka, one of those guys, he does not wreck. He's definitely a long-run car, as he likes to just really make his moves late in the race and sneaks up that leaderboard.
Well, right about now is when those tires are feeling real good. I think on our testing, it was about lap 5, they started to feel real good. So these guys are feeling it right now. Should see people start making a little bit more aggressive moves throughout the course. Looks like Mark Collins is going to try to make a run on Greg Dobson, but he couldn't there. But this is where they're going to have some fun, I think.
Yeah, side by side, they went into turns 1 and 2. Jess Vaught and Jason Ayrson, and Jess Vaught's going to steal that position away, excuse me. So Jess Vaught creeping up that leaderboard here as everybody looking kind of single file, but still racing out here on lap number 6 of this Vigilante race here at Charlotte under the lights. And these guys are shining bright here tonight. Albert Anderson trying to get some spots back here, hunt down that 11 of Eric Klafka. You also saw the 72 of Chandler Paul. He's been trying to cruise his way up through this field as well. He's been picking and choosing his battles here kind of early on, just not wanting to burn his stuff up too early. Same thing with Jonathan Osborne. He's already made up 5 spots on the night. He's looking to continue to add to that number as he's trying to run that kind of like medium-high line, and it's a good tire-saving technique normally, but we'll have to wait and see as the battle up at the front has started to separate quite a bit between second and third, but Russ Kilgore still all over that back bumper of the 728 Timothy Pope.
Got Team Albert in the house tonight for sure over there on Facebook. Edith Anderson on saying, let the games begin. Dave Mayberry says, hey, tell Adamson there's a 4th gear. He might want to use it out there.
You got to give the guys a hard time. Look at Collins. Yep, he's starting to make his move there at turn 2. 223 of Mark Collins up to 9th position right now, it looks like. Pretty quick looking car.
Yeah, he did. He slid right around that 285 of Greg Dobson, changing it up from his normal kind of tan beige car here. He's thrown some vibrant colors onto that thing here tonight, so we can really look out there and see where old Greg is sitting at.
You usually get that wood grain finish, that wood grain paint on there, and tonight it looks like Bender from Futurama out there on the hood of that machine.
As Jason Ayrson is now fallen under attack from the 3 of Austin Paul. Austin Paul driving that lilac car here tonight.
Our buddy Greg Klein letting us know over there on YouTube. He's telling me that I might have to duck here if the weather gets too bad. Actually, the lights have already blinked probably 2 or 3 times, so I'm surprised I haven't lost y'all yet. But sounds like it's going to pass on through here. No need to duck just yet.
Austin Paul almost got that pass done right there, but he didn't. Settles back in.
As the 208 of Derek Welsh looks like he's trying to make some noise here, getting around that 51. Mike Adamson, he's now trying to work on that 72 of Chandler Paul, inching his way up towards this top 10 here. But again, we all know this is a marathon and not a sprint. These guys have a long, long way yet to go. Jim Ott as well. He's up there inside that top 10. He's been slowly biding his time, trying to catch up to this rest of the field, make some moves as well.
Dave Mayberry saying over there on Facebook, I might not win fan of the race, but I'm sure going to be the smack talker of the race.
Ooh.
Why ain't you in here, Dave?
Down in the grass.
We like seeing Hot Rod out here run. He ain't here today.
Who was that that went in the grass there? Kilgore. Russ got thrown in the grass. But he held it. He's losing spots, though. Hemorrhaging right now.
He is. So let's go back and see what happened to Russ coming out of turn number 4. Snags that outside wall and gets a little squirrely. Hits that little jump. Lands it just fine. So Rocket Man lives to see another day.
Well, I want to hear more smack talking.
Well, 223 is kind of getting into it with a couple of cars back here. A lot of close quarters racing action back here for about 9th through 12th.
As the 208 of Derek Welsh is side by side with the 285. Greg Dobson. Mike Adamson's going to try to follow him here on that low side as well, but just doesn't quite get the run here. Let's see what the run looks like coming out of the corner. Looks like the outside just get a little bit the best of the 51 there, and he's able to hold on to that spot one more time. Ooh, little loose heading off into turn number 1. Not able to get that car turned in just right. So that 51 is going to get a nose here on that 285. Drifting out wide as far as he can. He's going to try to get him here, and he does.
Too wide back here, 9 through 12. Pretty good stuff.
81 of Jonathan Osborne already up 5 spots. Up to 15th right now. Oh, John, he's on a mission tonight. Derek Welch up 4 spots sitting in 10th. Trying to get a little more right now, but man, what a traffic jam.
And you ain't kidding. And this is one of those tracks you really want that clean air. So imagine having all 4 of these, 5 of these, 6 of these cars all around you, man. That's got to be spoiling some of your limited downforce that you already have.
Ooh, another wall got struck right there. What was that? The Mark Collins, Numthumb 223, just hit outside wall in 4. That's a common theme tonight.
That's a 753. Jeremiah Burke almost loses it on the apron there, but is able to hang on to it.
Trying to stay off that Cult of Chaos number 72 to his outside. They got pretty close there, and Jeremiah making that mad dash down to the apron with his little escape route ready.
Yeah, that he
I
is.
gotta do it again.
Let's see. Here comes the 205 making a move on that 3 of Austin Paul, looking down low, and looks like he will get that bumper just clear of that 3, exiting the turn number 2, drifting out wide to that wall. Albert Anderson is now trying to use that draft to catch up and maybe do the same thing here in 3 and 4. And not quite enough of a run there for Albert, but he's still sticking with it up there just outside of that top 5. But be on the lookout here for Jim Ott, who's been kind of charging up through this field a little bit, up 4 spots. But again, he does have a win already this season, so he is no stranger to that victory lane.
Watch out for the 753. Jeremiah Burke looks like he's tearing through the field right now. I think he'll be up 7 spots here in a second.
It didn't take him long to get around the 7, and that Rod Baker Ford Mustang of Kilgore, he's usually one of them guys that's cutting his way through the field, but he's getting passed by Burke.
Man, this is the kind of racing I like.
Oh man,
really good racing.
I'm telling you, I second that.
Last week we had Greg Klein come help us on the road races. He's our road race specialist. We thank him again for coming on board.
Yeah,
he's going to hopefully jump on all these road races because the English and I are too stupid to understand them. But we can understand this.
That we can, as these guys continue to put laps down here. About 21 have been completed, and a whole lot more left to go. Jeff Ottinger back here in the 76, tied up a little bit in traffic. Currently sitting in 15th, trying to fly that Cessna machine back up through this field and make up a good chunk of ground. Jeff, one of those guys, we'll kind of see him higher up that leaderboard later on in the race. I think more due to strategy than anything, but he's a very consistent guy.
Ooh. 81 caught a piece of that apron and got real wiggly, and almost got up into the 11 of Klafka, but able to hang on to it. Looks like he clipped the wall a little there too.
That he did. Of course, Jonathan Osborne driving with a controller with his mouth, so that could have been one of those situations there, just kind of trying to deal with what he can deal with as the 7 and the 72 go side by side as they cross the line. The 72 dropping 2 tires down there on the grass, just making sure it was mowed to the proper level, and I guess it is because he made that move just about work.
Well, Adam, these guys are about halfway through this first tank of fuel. Are they kind of sitting there thinking, depending on how much they practiced, I guess. Some guys are probably saying, you know what, I could probably push these tires a little bit harder in the next run, or do I need to kind of ease off of that right front a little bit?
I mean, right now I think they, in the first stage of the race, they're probably going to ease off a little bit. I think this is really where you want to learn what's going on with the car. You can't actually simulate even in practice, the nighttime conditions, all the marbles on the track, the way the air moves on the track with all the cars on it. So they're learning right now. I would expect them to be a little less aggressive on the tires until after that first stop is done, at least.
As we had some action towards the rear end of this field, we had one of your favorites there, Mr. Turner, the 222 of Tony Polk was trying to make a move on the 13 of Earl Evans, but Earl caught a run and was able to shut the door on that one. We also saw the 11 of Eric Klafka try to hold off a charging 81 Jonathan Osborne, and it looks like he was able to do so. So he's now trying to chase back down that 7 of Russ Kilgore.
Yeah, kind of spread it out, but there's action throughout, which is really cool.
That there is, as the 753, Jeremiah Burke looks to continue his conquest here, looking to make a pass on the 208 of Derek Welsh. Just not quite getting enough of a run here. Oh, as we got a big checkup behind Jonathan Osborne here. I don't know if that was caused by Eric Klafka or not, but everybody kind of dodging out of the way, and it looks like everyone's shuffling on through okay right now.
Now, I was watching the battle between the 81 and the 11. The 81 finally able to get around. They made several attempts to go that low line, and the 11 would come down and pinch him low, and not able to get the momentum he needed, but door opened that time on that last lap, and 81 able to make that pass.
Yeah, 11 had some kind of issue, slowed him down just enough to where Jonathan Osborne could get past him there. Not quite sure what happened, but they're still plugging along, no issues on the aftermath here.
as Jeremiah Burke was able to get around that 208 of Derek Welsh. Both drivers still inside that top 10, but Jeremiah now up 7 spots into 8th. We also have that battle going back here. Jeff Ottinger, Greg Dobson side by side. Looks like Greg Dobson's going to get that position back on him there, as Russ Endicott having a little bit of a wild ride through some grass. Looks like he might have tried to pit there, just not able to get it woed up in time. He's going to have to wave himself around.
Figured out why the 81 has gained so many spots. It's because he's scraped all the paint off the right side of that car, saving a little weight probably. But he's scraped the wall numerous times, but not enough to cause any damage.
And just like that, Derek Welsh makes that move right back on Jeremiah Burke, stealing that position back away once again. So Earl Evans does find his way down into pit road. He's going to, looks like, be making his first round of pit stops here tonight. One of our first takers here on lap number 30. It's going to be interesting to see how long these guys do really push these sets. I'm looking at the times, and yeah, they're a little bit inflated from what their best time was about, 25 laps ago, but it's about 2 seconds. I think these guys are willing to push it just a little bit longer and try to get these tires to last. I think it's not a question of the car getting really pushy right now. It's just not able to maintain the speed.
Yeah, I'm looking here. Most of the guys had their fastest lap on lap 4 or so, between lap 4 and 6. So I think you're right on the money there.
Yeah, but from then to now, I'm sure it's not feeling great inside the car. But it depends on what kind of strategy. You're going to cut it into 4 or cut it into 3 stops or however many. You only have 4 sets of tires here, I believe, is what we got. And so that includes the one you started with. But really, you only got room for 3 full stops during this thing.
Yeah, well, someone who's really not caring what he's feeling right now, that's that 728 of Timothy Pope. Out there still way out in front, over a second lead here on Jess Vaught. And he's one of those guys, man. Once when he gets out front like this, he's not even looking in that rearview mirror. He's just worried about what's coming up in the windshield, because lap traffic is going to start to come up.
Well, how about Jess Vaught this season and last season too? Let's not discount what he did last season, finishing in the top 3 of drivers. But it's almost like he's got something to prove this year. Chip on his shoulder, the 33 has, and with that win last week, that put him up there in the points, and he's going to do his best to try to run down Tim Pope every week if he can.
Well, it's not going to be an easy thing to do, especially right here at a track like this. This is Tim Pope's bread and butter. Ooh, I heard a little anger on the radio. I like that.
Eric Klafka makes the dive down into pit road, and that's the other thing that we're going to have to watch out for is, some of these drivers, they'll call out their pit stop well ahead of time. Others, maybe saving it for that last second. So we might see some anger from that, of people being like, man, I wish you would have told me. I would have changed my line, would have done something else rather than follow your bumper,
Yeah, it's, even if you're trying to do a surprise strategy on somebody, if you got cars right on your rear end, you really need to say, hey, man, I'm hitting this time right before you jump down and jump off the gas. Give them a chance to slow down.
Well, it will be a little interesting here when we have these green flag pit stops. We hadn't talked about it much, but it's 45-mile-per-hour speed limit down there, so it is kind of tough to get the speed down on a track like this where you're just humming along at 180 miles an hour most of the race. So we will see if anybody gets the penalties.
So many green flag laps run this season. It's kind of really cool to see.
Yeah, Jeremiah Burke is down lap 36.
Man, it's Tim Pope. I don't know what happened here, but he lost a good chunk of time, and so Jess Vaught is now within half a second. He's got that purple 728 all up in his sights.
I don't know if you guys mentioned this already or not. The 221 of David Fight disconnected. He is out of the race.
I think you put a lap in, to be honest with you. Maybe start and park the thing. Not quite sure.
May have.
May have, as we're here on lap 38. We're starting to see some pit stops start to roll around. We've seen 3 takers. One of those, Jeremiah Burke, one of those guys not scared to try out different strategies. And here comes Timothy Pope, Jess Vaught, and Jason Arison all coming in around the same time, followed by Jim Ott. Looks like Mike Adamson's going to be one of the guys staying out. Same thing with that 3 of Austin Paul. So here we go. It's not just a game of follow the leader. It's a game of make your own decisions and see where you end up at the end. As Mike Adamson's going to get some bonus point here for leading a lap.
Got real crowded at the cone there.
Sure did.
285 sticking his nose down in there trying to get stopped.
Well, they're trying to pit maneuver each other down there on pit road.
That's
like
not how that's done.
No, it's not supposed to be. Dobson overshot his pit box a little bit.
He did, as Timothy Pope just beats Jess Vaught out of pit lane there. Albert Anderson makes his way out of pit lane. And, I mean, we talked about a lot of tracks here in this calendar of just how tough it is to get these cars woed up and down into the pit lane. But Charlotte's got to be one of the toughest ones out there because you're carrying so much speed on a very high bank. And once when you hit that apron, that's really upsets the car while you're trying to slow down, and that pit road is right there on corner exit.
It's a fact. It's really hard to get onto it and get slowed down, but these guys are doing a terrific job so far. Not a single black flag on pit road yet for speeding, either on or off. So these guys doing a pretty good job of managing that tachometer.
As Derek Welsh gets some bonus points here for leading a lap, one of the remaining few that have not pitted yet. He has a teammate down there in the pits right now. Actually, speaking of which, here he comes himself down into the pit lane. So looks like Timothy Pope will re-inherit the lead here. Once when this thing completely cycles back around, he makes his way around some lap traffic there. That's the 211 of Chad McCabe. Hopefully crossing his fingers to finish a race here tonight. Not having the best of luck for that 211 this season.
How's your storm going over there, English?
Just looking at the radar just now.
I figured you got a little quiet.
Yeah.
I was you're concerned.
Yeah, sorry about that. It looks like we might catch an edge of something, but it hasn't rained here in a few weeks, so we need the rain. We just don't need the crud that comes along with it.
Yahtzee.
As these guys continue to race along here at Charlotte, we got Austin Paul hunting down that 51 of Mike Adamson. These guys pitted on the same lap, so they're not losing too much time from each other. Timothy Pope and Jess Vaught, that gap is still very close, still just under half a second. And of course, we're now really starting to see that lap traffic kind of come into play as Tim is looking to try to make some moves here on the 267 of Nathan Stanley and the 222 of Tony Polk.
To Ashley Osborne joining us over on the YouTube stream, saying let's go 81, pulling for her brother Jonathan out there. Team Chachi, got somebody on for Team Chachi tonight.
And speaking of the 267, Nathan Stanley setting the fastest lap of the race so far here tonight, a 30.33. So even though he's back here in 18th, it's not like he's not trying here, folks. He is putting in some barn burner of laps. He's just maybe got caught up in a few little too much traffic jams and not able to make his way up through the field like some of these other drivers. As here comes Jess Vaught on Timothy Pope. He's got him right in his sights. Gonna be bumper to bumper here as they go through turns 3 and 4.
This is why I love listening at Charlotte. The track's not as big as what we see on, super speedways or the road courses where everybody gets strung out all over the place. So much space. A lot of places on the track, these guys are on top of each other. I love it.
As the 205 of Jim Ott, he's trying to hunt down that 244. Jason Ayerson, who's put on a great show here tonight thus far, staying inside that top 3 spot right now. You also got that 3 of Austin Paul. He's been in a good battle here with that 51 of Mike Adamson, and the 753 Jeremiah Burke. He's been crawling his way up ever since the green flag dropped, and he's looking to really make some more moves here, hunting down those guys.
I'm super impressed. I have to go back to this. I'm super impressed that all those guys were able to make it onto pit road without incident and without getting a black flag for speeding coming down. These guys are really starting to take they have for a while, but the practice sessions and stuff, they're really starting to take it serious, and they've seen how many green flag laps are being run this season. They know they're going to have to pit under green just about every track. So, yeah, good on them, man. That's very impressive.
As that battle between Nathan Stanley and Tony Pope continues to go on, even Deion Jones is starting to get a little involved in that one, as Jason Ayerson is side by side with Jim Ott here. So 2 rookies this season, and it looks like Jim Ott is going to steal that position away. We'll have to wait and see if Jason's got an answer for him here coming through the quad oval and into turns 1 and 2. Doesn't look like it. It looks like Jason maybe running the high line, saving some tires for a little later on.
Yeah, saving tires is going to be the name of the game right here. Just to kind of level out your fuel run. You don't want to be super fast at the beginning and then just tear them up to the point where, big traffic jam right here. The 13, the 57, the 7, and the 81. The 57 has to dive down onto the apron. Well, I'm glad they got that sorted out. That was pretty intense.
That it was. I saw a whole cluster light up on my screen, and boy, was it ever. You also have the 7 of Russ Kilgore going the opposite direction of what he normally does. He's down about 7 spots, still holding on to one of those top 10 spots right now, but he's got a very hungry 81 Jonathan Osborne hunting him down. You also had that 208 of Derek Welsh. He's trying to fight through a lot of this traffic here. Has the 13 Earl Evans lap down traffic here. He is the first car 1 lap down, as Nathan Stanley has so far held off Timothy Pope to stay on that lead lap. So if we do get a caution here right now, it would be Earl getting that lucky dog.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to get many cautions so far. They've been super clean. Yeah, you just never know.
Yeah,
don't forget, folks, everybody out there watching in Streamland over there on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch TV. Don't forget, we're going to award a fan of the race at the end of this deal. So get your comments in there. Keep them funny if you can. Or if you have questions about what's going on out here on the track, or questions or comments about anything, we'll read just about anything on the air. I don't know.
Just about anything. Are you like the teleprompter guy? Are you like the guy that reads the? When you're reading off a teleprompter and you say a quote,
Or
end quote,
repeat the line.
Repeat line, quote. Yeah, you're that guy, aren't you? You'll just read anything.
Throw it to Adam for dramatic effect.
I'm just saying.
Stay classy, San Diego.
Exactly. We have plenty of people doing that nowadays.
As here comes that 208, Derek Welsh looking to the inside of the 81, Jonathan Osborne. Looks like he will be able to squeeze that spot there. Same thing with that 57. Man, the 57, Russ Endicott. I think he had some penalties to serve at the start of this one, so he's already a lap down himself. But he's looking like he's trying to fight his way back and maybe try to make up some extra spots here. But again, all of that really not for naught, as we got a battle going on up at the front. Nathan Stanley did finally get past here. by Timothy Pope, but Jess Vaught, man, he used that traffic to his advantage and was able to jump right back up onto that back bumper.
Yeah, Pope shot around him. You know, he got pretty close to Nathan, but great job getting around him there. And the 33 just kind of stayed low while all that was happening.
I'm looking for some action out here. Kind of single filing everything out at the moment. So until we see some of this lap stuff, it may kind of continue to be that way.
As the 208 continues his climb up that leaderboard, looking to pass the 7 of Russ Kilgore here. He's going to be able to get that pass completed, not too many issues. As we continue to look through our board to bring you the best race in action out here on the track. We took a look there as we rode along inside the cockpit with Austin Paul as we pulled up his face cam, and you can just see how much this simulator, not a game, actually imitates what you're doing to the wheel here in real life, and even just the minute little twitches that you saw Austin making, man. The sim absolutely mimics it perfectly. Oh, as the 728 runs into some big time traffic here with the 13 and the 4.
Yeah, Deion Jones was down on the grass temporarily back there in the quad oval. And I think that kind of made some folks nervous there, but Pope able to negotiate that traffic. The 33, however, is going to have to wait his turn to pass the 4 here.
Well, it's a scary place to pass right there. I don't care if they're giving it to you or not, right there in that.
Yeah, even if it's choreographed, still tight.
Yeah, I don't think Jess is real keen on that one.
No, well, not only that, it was kind of an interesting pick maneuver that Timothy Pope was able to apply there. He had the bottom line on that 4 of Deion Jones and was able to make that pass, but as soon as he did, Deion dropped down to that low line, which forced Jess Vaught out to the outside line, and that's not the preferred line for passing here. You really want to be on that inside line, as you can see these guys make their laps here on lap number 60. So we're already approaching almost halfway here, boys.
Yeah, we got a question from Edith Anderson over on Facebook that said, she asks, what's that spark that looks like it's coming from out from underneath the car? On the right side of the car, that's where the exhaust exit is on these machines. And when they're decelerating, when they get off that accelerator real quick, that's that decel pop. That's unburnt fuel that's coming out of the exhaust pipe, and it's coming out there, and it's self-lighting. So you'll see them let off the accelerator, and you'll see it pop a few times. That's unburnt fuel coming through the exhaust pipe and burning off.
And another reason iRacing does an awesome job. That's what really happens with these cars. If you happen to watch a NASCAR race at night, you will definitely see that. So, hey, good observation. That's a really cool question. I'd like to get some more cool questions. Or anybody wants to talk about somebody fighting, teams fighting. Maybe somebody done somebody wrong here. They need to get back at somebody at this race. I don't know.
We might need to, hey, won't you play another somebody done somebody wrong song?
We should. That should be our theme song. But no, I mean, I'm thinking about it. I was watching the race this past weekend, and there's some people mad at Ross Chastain. Who's our Ross Chastain?
I'm not answering that question.
Oh, I baited you, didn't I? But yeah, I want to see that type of fun. That to me is fun. Okay, love it.
Absolutely. As we watch here, the 205 of Jim Ott, he continues to try to hold off that 244 of Jason Ayrson, who ran into some lap traffic there with the 13 Earl Evans, but able to fight his way on through, still within half a second of Jim Ott there in that final podium spot there in third, as we're here on lap 64, 133. So based on the last kind of round of pit stops. What are you thinking about? Lap 75, 76 for most of these guys?
Yeah, probably 76. If they could stretch it maybe another lap, 76, 77, I think you'll see them start to trickle down.
Which, of course, will then lead to a great sprint to the finish if everything falls into plan that way. As the two of Albert Anderson still hanging around in that top 10, currently in 7th. He's got a bit of work ahead of him here, trying to hunt down that 3 of Austin Paul, but he's got about a 2-second gap back there to his teammate Jeremiah Burke, who's in 8th right now. So Albert Anderson doing a great job here tonight, keeping it clean and keeping that 2 machine looking pretty.
He always does. He's a consummate professional. He loves these tracks like this. I know he loves Charlotte. I think we talked to him about it. So having a good, solid, quiet race right now. So, unfortunately, Tim Pope and Jess Mott are kind of turned this thing into the runaway show. Jim Mott as well. So
yeah, here comes
stuff.
The 81 Jonathan Osborne. This is going to be a pass to try to sneak up into 11th, crawling up to that rear end of the 11, Eric Klafka. There they go, nose to tail into turns 3 and 4. Jonathan looking down low, side by side as they come out of turn number 4. Looks like Jonathan was able to make that car stick and get that pass done. So he moves his way on up into 11th. He's now got about almost 5 seconds to catch up to Russ Kilgore in the top 10.
Yeah, all 3 of us, I think, all kind of grew up in the country. We're joined by another country boy Anderson, over there on Facebook, pulling for Albert, of course. America's driver. I tell you what, Team Anderson, I think they all get together and they say, you know what, we're going to watch it on Facebook. We're not going to bother with the other couple of streams. We're going to get on Facebook where we can ask questions. And
well, you can ask questions on any of these things. Don't forget, some people are more.
They want to all hit on the same.
They're a team. They're like a team. They're pulling for their
team. Facebook Anderson. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pulling for their driver. Yeah, I like seeing them out there. Anybody else got the questions? Send them on over. We love to answer and interact with y'all.
As it looks like Eric Klafka is going to be one of the early ones here, pitting on lap 70, starting that second round of pit stops. Same thing with that 13 of Earl Evans, trying to get that fresh rubber down and ready to go. As we got a battle here, 205 and the 244, nose to tail, caught up behind some lap traffic. That's the 223 of Mark Collins. Not really in the way there, just happen to be driving, and here we go. Nose to tail through turns 3 and 4. 244 looking to make that pass on the 205 down low through turns 3 and 4, and is able to get it done. Man, so Jason Ayerson maybe saving those tires just a little bit extra, able to make that pass look easy.
Even Shell Baboon joining us over on Facebook saying, go Albert. Yeah, these guys they're coming up on it. It's time to start making sure you've got the right boxes checked over in that your little pit stop box. Make sure you have your tires checked and full fuel checked. So we've seen that happen before. Somebody will forget to check one of those boxes, and when they come down to pit, you're not gonna get your gas.
Oh, and looky here, Albert Anderson has crawled his way back. He's now making a pass on that 3 of Austin Paul. Down low, he's going to get his rear end clear. Albert Anderson looking very racy here tonight. He's now trying to navigate some lap traffic, going 3 wide as they entered 3 and 4. Thankfully, I think a couple of those guys might have backed out of it just in time. Oh no, is Nathan Stanley up into the wall, scraping it here, exiting turn number 4, just as a wad of traffic is right around him. Able to, for the most part, keep it together here, and absolutely no other incident to report.
Some white knuckles on some steering wheels right now, guaranteed.
That was some good racing right there. Chandler Paul was involved in some of that. Whew. Yeah, take a deep breath. I guess these guys, man, I don't know, 200 miles in this simulation, that's got to wear you out. And we're just now hitting about the halfway point, or a little over.
Yeah, a little. It's going by quick, Adam. I mean, when it stays green like this, and these guys are clicking off these laps and making great speed running around here, yeah, it's clicking by quick.
Yeah, but Brown shows you with the cameras on these guys how it simulates the actual track, so the bumps and that's why you're not just holding the steering wheel left. There's a bunch of moving around with the steering wheel because there's grooves out there, there's divots out there, and then the wind is pushing you around a little bit from the other cars. So a true simulation. Good job, iRacing. I think it's a cool platform for guys that love racing but just can't afford a $30,000 race car.
When's the last time they repaved Charlotte? I know it's not a brand new surface, but it's not really old. There are some tar snakes out there and some grooving happening out there, but I don't think it's a very old surface. I think they just redid it here a few years ago. Didn't our friend Richard Gray, I think he was on the pave crew for that, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was the early 2010s, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Early, mid, whatever you call them, I don't know. But yeah, we had a guy that's worked on a track. That actually scares me. There's probably a real problem out there. They probably call it Richard's Gray, Michelob's Corner or something, yeah. Probably got a little tribute of his own in that actual track.
As Mike Adamson makes a peel down into pit road. He was in a pretty good battle there, trying to take that fourth spot away from Jim Ott, but just not quite able to get it done, as Timothy Pope is absolutely bogged down in some traffic right now. I gotta wonder, we're pretty close to that pit window, and yet there he comes saying, man, I just don't want to be in this traffic right now. Get me out of it. Coming down into pit lane, Jess Vaught is going to follow him. Same thing with Jason Arison. He sees what the leaders are doing. Jim Ott as well. He's going to peel off down to the pit road, and that's going to leave Austin Paul out here. He's going to get some lead lap points. Jeremiah Burke, Albert Anderson into the pits as well. And of course, we'll let you know if we see any issues down there. Looks like Derek Welsh is going to stay out, as Russ Kilgore also pits. Jonathan Osborne coming in for his next round of pit stops, which means we're going to have about right around that 40 more laps, and then we enter that final pit stop window. And man, it's going to be an all-out sprint to the finish here. Still got a little bit of racing going on. Looks like Nathan Stanley coming down into the pit lane here.
Yeah, you still got Dobson, Welch, and Paul out there that still need to come down, as well as Dion Jones. But most of the rest of the field's already come in for service, and once again, not a black flag among them. Everybody doing a great job adhering to that 45-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Ooh, Pope got squirrely there. New fresh tires on what I would assume would be fresh tires.
And that was, I think Jess Vaught had just a little bit better of a in and out of that pit stop, so he is going to essentially be the quasi leader here as we wait for this entire field to cycle its way around. But Timothy Pope now, rather than being in the catbird seat, he's chasing that cat. I don't even know what that thing is, man.
You know,
well, I know what it, here's what it is. It's like shooting dice in Waco. You don't know what you're going to get. You may roll snake eyes. You may get a 22 Derringer, right?
Chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get. Y'all are all crossed.
No. You ruined it. Yes, you could get a 22 Derringer or roll snake eyes. You never know.
Or you could get Mike Adamson here squeezed between Jason Arison and Jim Ott. This is a battle for position. All three of these guys have pitted. So everybody fighting for their finish here. Mike Adamson in fifth, Jason Arison in fourth, and Jim Ott in sixth. And all three of these guys were fairly close to each other at the end of that last run. So I have a feeling this battle is, man, just heating up, and it's going to go on for quite a while as they run here. Nose to tail behind that 72 of Chandler Paul, trying to fight and beg and plead to get a caution here as he is the last car on the lead lap.
And somebody else waiting for one, too. The 208 of Garrett Welch still out there turning laps. He's got about 41, 42 laps on that car since the last service. So I don't think he's going to get his yellow flag.
As Jason Arison maybe makes a mistake, maybe strategic call, drifts out to the high side and lets both Ott and Adamson on through. So both drivers picking up the position here, but Adamson wants more, still trying to hunt down that 205.
Yeah, Limitless. We got a cool black rifle paint. There's a lot of cool paint jobs out here tonight. It looks like Derek Welch is in.
Yeah, Derek Welch checking that car up to bring it down into pit lane as Jeff Vaught makes a move there on Jeff Ottinger, having an okay day there for the 76 machine, up 4 spots, running around in 12th right now, but Jeff Vaught looking pretty good, about a second lead over Timothy Pope.
Edith Anderson with another question over there on Facebook saying, hey, if they don't make their pit stops, do they get penalized? It doesn't work that way. The reason they have to come in is they only have a limited amount of fuel in that machine, and these things get terrible gas mileage, as we know. They're race cars after all. So they have to come in and get fuel periodically, about every 40, what did we say, 41 to 46 laps. But also tire wear. These aren't like the tires on your, on your Pontiac at home. These things are very soft compound, made for grip. There's no tread design or anything in them. They're slicks. They get very, very hot, and they leave a lot of rubber on the track. So they wear out very quickly. And the more they wear, the slower you're going to be, because you're not going to be able to take that turn as fast, because that car is just going to slide up the track because you've got no traction. It's like I guess the worse your tires get, the more wear you get. It's like you're driving on grease out there, or driving on a wet, oily surface. I mean, it's just, you're going to start sliding up the track, back into the car, it's going to start coming out. You're going to have almost no control. So, yeah, coming in to get tires of fuel, mandatory here. You have to do it here. Abrasive track like Charlotte.
Another great question. She's always got the great questions, but the real penalty is you're causing the penalty yourself by not coming in and getting that thing right. So
slowing down,
yeah, it's slowing you down and causing issues. Man, I wish everybody had great questions like she does. Maybe they're too scared to ask.
Kathleen Anderson saying, is it really hard to break the speed down to get into the pit? It really is, especially at a track like this where it's such a sharp angle and you're going so fast coming out of turn 4. To get down onto the pit lane, you've really got to be careful with your downshifting. Be careful with the amount of brake pressure you use. You don't want to lock your brakes up and start sliding, because then you'll have no steering control. So you got to brake as hard as you can without locking up the wheels, and by the time you hit that green cone, you better be down to 45 miles an hour, or you will have to come back around to do a pass-through penalty. So it is hard at this track. Some tracks, you have a little bit more time to kind of time it, but when you're coming out of turn 4, the visibility is not great either. So you have to practice it, and you got to kind of find a marker on the track to know, hey, when I hit this little mark on the track, or this sign, or this cone, or whatever, I'm going to start giving it full brakes and start downshift. 13 of Earl Evans in the wall, and he sends the 7 around.
He sure did. 13 and 7. That's got to bring out a caution, would it not?
Not yet. Only 2 cars involved, and it looks like they're now both off the racing surface.
Wow.
Earl Evans looks like he hit his incident limit. The 13 machine has been disqualified.
Really?
Let's see if we can't see what happened here. Oh, 13 just going out to the wall, bounces off of it, tries to keep it together, just not quite enough. And that's going to bring that 7 to a spinning halt in the middle of the track. He is able to get it down off the racing surface and out of the way. But unfortunately, it looks like that 7 of Russ Kilgore, man, it is beat up. He's going to have to take a tow here and use one of those fast repairs if he's still got it.
Well, that's really the only major thing we've seen.
It's been pretty tame, hasn't it? I mean, that
It really has.
and that wasn't anything. A little bit of frustration on the radio.
You say there's nothing, but yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot the 13 could have done. He bounced off the wall a couple times. He tried to correct it, and you know, he just lost control of the car. It wasn't a, you know, fighting for position situation. He just lost control of his car from hitting the wall up there. So,
But
I
the
understand.
problem is
the 7, you know, is upset about it.
frustration because you get taken out by a lap car, and there's no fault. It just was a complete freak deal. But no caution, so we move on. And
Yeah, and I mean, we also got to remember, these are not the trucks. The trucks, you can, you know, if you make a mistake, you can typically recover from it. But, man, these Xfinity cars, if you're not perfect with that recovery, man, it just snowballs and snowballs and snowballs, and it becomes an absolute mess out there on the track. As we got a fight here between Burke, Anderson, and Austin Paul. They're going to be teammates side by side. Jeremiah Burke and Albert Anderson battling for 6th here. Looks like Jeremiah's going to hold on to that position for right now, but I got a feeling teammates incommunicado here as they're saying, man, I think I'm a little quicker than you, but we got to still keep that number 3 behind us.
I mean, we've seen that before. Teammates racing each other very hard. You don't want to. You want to help your team, right? But this is where the personal points and stuff come into play. You've got to help yourself. You've got to chase that stainless steel trophy. I mean, you got to do for yourself. If you're the nice guy all the time, trying to help your teammate constantly, you know, you're doing nothing but handicapping yourself.
And of
that
course,
means you're the bake for the shake and bake.
That's right.
You don't always want to be the bake, do you?
but of course, in the
Nancy Riley and the Old Spice car.
while that incident between the 13 and the 7 was going on, this also happened here. The 33 avoiding the car of Russ Kilgore on the track slows down, ends up drifting out to the wall, and that was just enough to let Timothy Pope come on by. So Timothy Pope back into the lead here, as he's now got about a 2-second lead on Jess Fott. It wasn't a hard hit into that outside wall, but we know how fragile these cars are. Just a little scrape out there could really mess up your steering for a stint.
Now I kind of understand what the conversation was going on in the cockpits of these guys. We get to hear them. We can't put it out there for y'all to hear because it gets kind of wild, you know. But now I kind of have a little context of what happened on the track, so. Hey, slowed everybody down, unfortunately. It's just part of racing.
Well, you know, I understand this. The driver of the 7, Russ Kilgore, and that Ford Mustang, he was upset. You know, he did disconnect from the race. You know, if he would have stuck around, maybe just got his car fixed, maybe he could have made a couple more attrition positions. You know, but these guys, they do get a couple of throwaway weeks, we'll call them. What's the official
Drop week?
drop weeks?
What was
So,
the
I
second?
mean,
No, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
no,
but
go ahead, man. I was just saying, you know, he's got the opportunity to make it up another
The
week.
244 of Jason Ayrson, is having a hell of a race, but looks like he's starting to have a connection issue. He's kind of ghosting out.
Now,
That'd be unfortunate if we lost him because he's really having a good run.
his quality number's way down right now. So
As the 2 and the 3, Austin Paul and Albert Anderson side by side as they cross the line. They were been side by side for about a full lap here. Both drivers were able to make it around that 753 Jeremiah Burke, as the 3 does find his way around that 2. So Austin Paul back up into 6th. All 3 of these guys trying to hunt down that 5th place of that 244. Jason Ayrson is let's take a look, see, does he have his thing? From Carlton, I believe that's Michigan. So, I don't know, they could be having
it's
some
Michigan.
storms up there as well. So, hopefully everything settles down for that 244 and he's able to finish out this great race that he's been having.
Is that the upper or the lower? Oh, that's all I know about Michigan. There's an upper and a lower. Well, then there's a Detroit where everybody gets,
What town is it?
Detroited.
Carlton, it's Carlton, but an E. So like C-A-R-L-E ton.
Interesting. Hey, use that Google machine. I know you got one. It's a Louisiana Google, so it's probably a little slower.
As we take a look here from the front passenger seat, or driver's seat, I should say, excuse me, of that 11 of Eric Klafka. He's been in a little bit of a battle here with Jeff Ottinger. He's got Chandler Paul, sitting right behind him here as he continues to try to, man, he's lost some spots from where we started here tonight, but still hanging on, trying to get a good finish here as Mark Collins and Nathan Stanley making their way down into pits. This will be the final pit stop for them.
Yeah, it looks like his town is right smack between downtown Detroit and Toledo, Ohio. So he's down right off of 75 down there, just outside of the Detroit suburbs, it looks like.
As Chandler Paul in that 72 makes the move and gets it done on the 11, able to move on up into 13th, trying to get up into one of those top 10 spots as we continue to tick laps away here. Lap 105 out of 133, so we are under 30 laps to go, and man, we haven't talked about a rally driver of the day here tonight, and man, I don't know who to pick. We got so many options here.
Well, Osborne's been moved up. He's up 10. Started in 20th place. He's up to 10th right now. And we've seen him scrape the wall a whole bunch. Been involved in a lot of heavy traffic. So, yeah, the 81, I think he's one of those guys that may have earned that tonight because he's on the move still in that 81. Go Chachi.
Yeah, impressive driver every week. He's does amazing things. He might not win every race, but what he's doing out there, what he's overcoming is amazing. So it's always cool to see him up in the top 10.
Like George and Wheezy moving on up today.
Oh, these people don't know what you're talking about. I wish they did. That was a great show.
Earl Evans says that wall just sucks you in here, and I think that's what eventually did him in.
Harrison's in. Jim Aga's in.
Yeah, that they are, as looks like Jeremiah Burke closing in on his teammate, that 2 of Albert Anderson. You know, they're talking to each other about when they're going to be coming into the pits here. And of course, this is coming into that final pit stop, which means it is the money stop here for these drivers. The one that absolutely counts. Not that you could really make a mistake here tonight. You really pay for the mistakes on any race that goes flag to flag, but especially here at Charlotte. And if a spot really ever mattered, man, this stop is crucial.
This is where all that practice comes into effect. And just as a side note, the 267 Nathan Stanley done for the night. Drove his car back up onto the hallway.
Yeah, that's about what I would probably do. Ottinger's coming down. Solid 12th place right now in the Cessna machine, so Yahtzee.
As Chandler Paul makes up another spot here. He passes that 205 of Jim Ott, but Jim Ott on the fresher tires just whips right back on around him here. And it's going to start laying down some quick lap times here. Make up all the spots that he can here as we are 24 laps to go here at Charlotte. We got Mike Adamson, the silent assassin, just quietly picking and prodding and moving his way up through this field. Now into a P3 spot with teammate Timothy Pope out there in the lead by about 4 seconds. Mike's got about 5 seconds to make up if he wants to catch up to Jesvot here. Got Austin Paul still hanging around in 4th. You also have Albert Anderson here in a top 5 5th position as they deal with the 205, trying to get that lap back the hard way here on the fresh tires. And you can just see the difference of speed as Austin Paul, little loose coming down into pit road, but able to buckle it all down and enters safe as Jesvot makes the peel down into pit road. Same thing with Mike Adamson. Timothy Pope and Albert Anderson still left out there driving around on the racetrack as he continues to lead this thing. But man, he must see that Jesvot's in the pits. He's got to be thinking about coming down, because at this point now, every lap that he stays out there, that's just seconds lost.
Yeah, that's going to just increase the difference in the speed between those two machines, and I think he knows that. He's very experienced. He'll be in right here as soon as he can, I'm sure. But another great job of these guys getting in and out of pit road, and not a whole lot of difference in time here. We've got a couple of guys that stayed a few extra seconds probably to get some damage repaired. But 4 tires of fuel for most of the field out here.
Well, this is it. That's your last chance for tires if you've used them up, I imagine. So might as well get them in. It's going to be a little sprint to the finish.
As Albert Anderson comes on down into the pit road.
Well, and pitting right here, lap 110, 111, that's going to give these guys plenty of wiggle room in case we do get a green-white checker finish and have to re-rack everything and do a couple of extra laps. These guys will have plenty of fuel to do that, and some a little bit fresher tires than they had, the first or second time they pitted.
And Derek Welsh and Jonathan Osborne both have yet to pit as well for their final time. Derek Welsh on a little bit later of a strategy here, trying to push that car for everything that it's worth, that 208 machine, as Timothy Pope dives on down into pit lane. So Derek Welsh gonna be looks like he's gonna be getting not quite a lead lap. He was pretty much a lap down there, so he's getting that lap back. He's gonna have his teammate, the 223 Mark Collins, trying to get some laps back here, maybe peeking around him a little bit, as the 72 Chandler Paul behind him was having a little bit of a wiggle mess coming off of some of these turns, and had of a heck of a job as the 33 Jesvot coming out of those pits angry and looking for vengeance. He's coming up on that 33, or excuse me, that 205 of Jim Ott, coming down across the line, not quite side by side here. He's picking and prodding and trying to get everything on through and back up to second so he can maybe make a push here onto where Timothy Pope is. As actually, here comes Timothy Pope out of the pits now. And talk about losing a ton of ground. Yes, he's got a little bit newer set of tires, but both Jim and Jess have all pitted here.
Dobson off the track. Oh, I don't know how they did throw that one. He got off the track. Big crash by the 285. Sorry, Brown.
Now we'll go back and take a look-see here as that 285 hard impact into that outside wall coming out of turn number 2. And like I said, man, when you start losing it, oh man, thank goodness this is just a simulation, because that was
we got lucky, right?
That was an even harder impact on the inside wall, and that was on like one of those 45-degree angled sections of it, just dead head-on impact at 150 miles an hour. And that car is definitely going to need a little bit of work for that 285, as Derek Welsh is going to continue to lead some, at least a little bit of laps around here, as Jesvot is quickly making up that time. Lap 83, it's going to be close for Derek Welsh. He's going to have to really save it, but especially with a charging Jesvot with fresh tires and fuel, he's going to make mince meat out of him here.
Pope just set the fastest lap of the race, a 30-20, and look at the closing rate he's got on these guys. Pope is a man on a mission. This late pit strategy by the 728, it may pay off for him. Watch Timothy Pope's times here as he just set an even faster lap. He knows he can abuse these tires a little bit more, and it looks like he's doing so right now, but it's paying off for him in dividends with the time he's making.
Fastest lap of the race right there, is it not?
2 laps in a row, yeah.
Amazing.
Just absolutely putting the afterburners on here in the final 15 laps here at Charlotte. He's already hunted back down that 205 of Jim Ott. He's going to be putting his bumper out. Jim Ott just goes straight up high saying, I got nothing, just go.
I don't want anything for that.
So a second and a little extra here for Timothy Pope to make up to try to get a win here with 14 laps remain. We also have Austin Paul. Oh, we got a little bit of a wiggle mess going on here. Almost 3 wide into turns 3 and 4 as Austin Paul and Mike Adamson go side by side. They're going to have the 11 of Eric Klafka kind of setting a little pick maneuver here, not letting that 51 scooch on high. So the 3 of Austin Paul holds on to that position here for another time as, man, it looks like another person trying to just stay out of the way here as that gap is now down to under half a second up here for the battle for this win. You also have the 76 of Jeff Ottinger. He's trying to make a move here on the 11 of Eric Klafka as we enter the final 10 laps here in just a moment.
Ooh, Mike Adamson and Austin Paul really kind of having some good racing right here. Back and forth, back and forth. That's the kind of stuff you like to see. Real clean, too.
And here we go. The battle for the lead is side by side, entering turns 3 and 4. Timothy Pope on just a little bit newer tires. Did he save enough from that run? Yes, he did. He sneaks right on around that 33 of Jess Vaught. There was a little bit of lap traffic there as well, but both drivers able to navigate it well, and Timothy Pope gets back into the lead here. 11 laps remain.
Well, I'm going to call it that's a wrap. That guy is amazing, Timothy Pope. Jess Vaught, obviously, really, really good, too. But for some reason, Tim Pope is just amazing at these 1.5 miles, these oval tracks that are just, it's just right up his alley, I guess.
As here goes Jonathan Osborne down low on Eric Klafka here, trying to get up to that 76 of Jeff Ottinger to sneak into one of those top 10 spots.
Well, it's almost like the pressure's off now for Pope because he's gotten his way back up into first. Now all he has to do is watch his relative box, watch his times, watch his rearview mirror, see what Jess is doing, and just try to stay ahead of him. That's all he has to do now. He doesn't have to pass anybody else. You know, keep an eye on lap traffic, of course, but you know, this is where the pressure kind of starts.
As we had a little bit of contact there between Osborne and Ottinger. Osborne dirt tracking it through the quad oval, able to hang on to it here. Gets the pass done there on that 76.
They're kind of laughing about it. They survived that thing. That's
good
fun.
to hear him on the radio being a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fights, but I like the fun too. Yeah. I think really for Tim Pope, I'm not looking in the mirror. I'm driving my race. I'm more worried about what's up front, in front of me with the lap traffic than I am behind me, because that's how good he is. I don't think he has to worry about what's going on behind him.
As Jeremiah Burke as well, he's trying to continue to claw his way. He's now up into a top 5 spot. He's going to have teammate the 51, Mike Adamson, trying to hunt him down here to sneak up into that 5 hole. Oh, but at the same time, we are also entering the final 7 laps of this race. Timothy Pope out in front, and he has just absolutely left Jess Vaught out in the dust. About a 2-second lead, and Jess Vaught, he's got about a 3.5-second lead back to Jim Ott there in that 205. So it was just a matter of who was saving tires and what, and looks like maybe Jim Ott burned him up a little bit too much there and had to kind of back her off and just settle in. As here comes Mike Adamson here up on his teammate, the 753, Jeremiah Burke. And after talking with Mike Adamson, one thing to note is, man, there's really no team orders. It's, if you can do so, race cleanly, man. It doesn't matter if you're teammates, you race.
Yeah, I mean, we're friends, but I know English and I are friends, or I thought we were friends, but he'll drill you in Pocono turn 2. Just to get ahead of you. I mean, no big deal. I was leading him anyway, and he just drilled me. That's kind of how it works.
I hit a patch of fluid in the track or something like that.
Okay.
Oh no, I think Derek Welsh had an issue while he was coming out of the pits. Yeah, he ended up drifting down into the grass, and I don't know what went on with that 208 machine, but he.
His teammate just disconnected like a lap before that, so it looks like all of the Numb Thumbs Racing team has exited the race.
Well, I hope the Numb Thumbs guys are still listening to us. I really enjoy some of that. Look at Osborne, almost a 3 wide there with Adamson and Burke.
Yeah,
Adamson position right there.
Yeah, Adamson and Burke is for position. Osborne not quite. He's a lap down compared to these guys. And looks like Adamson was able to finally get clear of that 753. And you're going to watch that 81 fly by on that outside as he continues his hunt forward.
Yeah, good call on that. Sometimes I don't know what's going on with a certain car. Maybe Fox will hire me to do NASCAR.
Oh, yeah, well, if you don't know what you're doing, yeah, maybe they will.
If you don't know what you're doing, they'll definitely hire you.
No, but it's still exciting to see. He's got better tires. He's racing with the guys that are a lap ahead of him and passing them. So it makes for good-looking racing. And Burke, they're still fighting out there. So having one more in the mix is just more fun.
About over here, there, Alan?
Yes, it is. As, man, the racing here between Adamson and Burke still going on strong as Timothy Pope crosses the line to pick up the white flag here. A 4.5 second gap back to second place, and then another 4.5 second gap back to third. Looks like Deion Jones is just going to try to, or that might have even been Chandler Paul. I don't know. The cars look kind of close to the same. Tries to just stay out of the way through turns 3 and 4. Timothy Pope looking like he's going to be our next multi-winner here, and he is as he crosses the line, picking up the win here at Charlotte tonight, as that battle between Adamson and Burke still going on through turns 3 and 4. Just fought Jim Ont across the line 2 and 3 as the 753 just goes a little wide, scrapes the wall, and that's the end of that battle. Mike Adamson wins that one, finishing in the top 5.
Caution-free, fun race. Who is our fan of the race, English?
Our fan of the race this week is Edith Anderson. So thank you once again, Edith. Edith and Kathleen have both been fan of the race already. So has Country Boy.
Well deserved.
The Andersons just putting in so many comments and so many questions and stuff. You just can't give it to somebody else. These guys are doing a great job supporting their family out there.
I got to do some quick math here, but we do have a random draw driver of the day. I think we ended up having 17 finish. I know he stopped.
Confusing.
Yeah, I believe they stayed, and he stopped. So I believe we had 17 drivers finish here tonight. So I'll hit generate 3 times, and that'll be the lucky draw driver of the day. So here we go. 1, 2, and 3, which would be the 16th place finisher of, well, that would be Derek Welsh, but he disconnected. So we'll hit it one more time. 13 for Deion Jones.
Well, he raced the whole race.
That
I had
he
a tough
did.
race, but he did. He made it. So cool.
Congratulations, Dion, winning the lucky driver of the day here tonight. So I try to get things all situated here.
Yeah, you're hitting all the buttons and stuff, but man, what a cool race. These guys are kind of getting used to these Xfinity cars, wouldn't you think, Mr. English?
Yeah, man, we knew it was going to be some, a learning curve coming from trucks. Where that platform's a lot more forgiving. The Xfinity cars, man, they are a handful, and once they start to go sideways, you know, they're gone. As we see the 728 of Timothy Pope doing the cool old tribute, Alan Kowicki, the Polish victory lap, going around the track clockwise to be able to wave to all the fans, and that was always cool to watch when I was a kid, watching the Polish victory lap, and the fans getting to see the driver as he's running around the track, as opposed to usually when he's going the other direction.
Yes, as we are now ready to start our driver interviews, we'll start with our third place finisher here, who does have a win on this season. That's that 205 of Jim Ott, having a solid race here tonight, up 5 spots to finish on that third podium spot. Jim, it was a long green flag run race, as man, we've come to know here at Vigilante, so it kind of came down to clean pit stops and just clean running out there on the track, and looks like you did pretty good out there.
Yeah, it's what I was looking forward to. I was a little surprised that I lost so much track position, but yeah, I guess man, those two were in their own league tonight. But I'm very happy. I mean, it was tire management, it was track position, like you said, pits, and I just didn't have it.
Well, next week's going to be a little bit different. You guys are going to Richmond, a little bit shorter track there. That D-shaped Richmond always got me. You looking forward to that one, or are you kind of waiting to go to the All-Star race?
No, I actually enjoy Richmond quite a bit. It's a good rhythm track, and I've always had pretty good success there. So I look forward to those kind of tracks. So it's kind of Iowa in a sense. You got the multiple lanes and good rhythm, and it's a track that fits my driving style. So I look forward to it.
Well, you say you didn't have it, but you're sitting here on a podium. Those two guys were in another league, but you had a hell of a race. Was there anything that was stood out to you as like the most difficult portion of the night? Was it, pass and lap traffic, the tires, or just anything in general?
It's really the right front. I didn't take care of it as well as I should have. I got a little impatient and drove a little harder than I should have, and yeah, I just didn't do a good job like I normally would. So I was down to around 60% on 2 of the long green flag stops, and just didn't have the rotation.
Well, man, you still did a heck of a job here. Again, up 5 spots to finish there in third. Before we let you go, you got any shout-outs or anything like that?
Yeah, I love coming out here on Wednesdays and racing, and all these guys are a blast to race with, and Jess and Lori, I mean, appreciate what they do, appreciate what you guys do, enjoy watching the broadcast, and again, just look forward to being out here on Wednesdays.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you here next week.
All right, thanks, guys.
As we move up this leaderboard, we'll now talk to our second place finisher, and that's that 33 of Mr. Jess Vaught, who ran into just a little bit of an issue there with an incident happening right there in front of him, but it looked like it didn't slow you down too much there, as you were able to make up a ton of time on your pit stop, Jess. We knew it was going to be a 2-dog fight between you and Tim, and that's pretty much what we got.
Yeah, well, Tim, he's classed the field on most weeks, and I was just happy and excited that hell, I was there halfway through into the third quarter of the race. Had that little bit of an issue dodging an incident in the corner there, straight to the wall, and it gave me just enough damage that she got pretty tight on me. I could feel it immediately, and then that allowed Tim to gap me about 5 or so seconds before we went to the pits. And so my only chance at that point, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to undercut it a little bit here, which I didn't want to do because I knew I'd have older tires once he went in. And then I came out and had almost an epic battle with Jim Ott there just to get around him. Made it around him. I thought, okay, well, maybe. And I got a chance here, going about 10 to go. But here comes old Tim Pope. As usual. You know how he rolls.
Well, speaking of Jim Ott, when we talked to him here just a minute ago, he said the biggest challenge to him out there was just taking care of that right front. And I know besides the the people out there, the 205, the 728, what was your biggest challenge out there running Charlotte tonight at this night race?
The right front tires was it. What's the balance? How hard can you run it for me and not lose touch with Pope, but yet save enough tire to be competitive with him? And I thought we were going to have an epic battle at the end of the race there. I was able to, right on his bumper going into the pits each time, and I was hopeful. I was content to ride there for a little bit, get towards the end, and hopefully battle with him, but it didn't work out that way.
Yeah, well, I don't think we found a track that you can't at least get a podium at. So, speaking of that, what about next week at Richmond? That's a little different track compared to the so we had the road course, we had kind of the mid-style course, the 1.5 miler, and now we're going to have this short track. Cool setup. What do you think your chances are there at Richmond?
I like Richmond, and so if I can stay out of trouble there, again, take care of your equipment and your tires there, keep the fenders straight. I think I can have a good finish, and my goal each week is to put it at least the top 10. Real happy if I get in the top 5, and ecstatic if I can podium or finish first.
Well, man, you still did a heck of a job here tonight. We enjoyed watching you battle it out there, even lead a few laps. Before we let you go, you got any shout-outs like we know you do?
Oh, yeah, as always. My wife, Lori, man, she does so much for me and for this league, and, it's not easy being the chief steward, so to speak, and making calls that don't always make people happy. Big shout-out to her. This league, man, great drivers as always, and this broadcast. You guys have you got a hell of a setup going this year. You were great the first 2 seasons, but you guys have stepped it up even further in this season, so I appreciate you.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate you guys and look forward to seeing what Race in Action we come up here next week. We'll see you then.
Yeah, you guys take care.
All right, so we'll take a quick break from the leaders here, and we'll talk to the lucky driver of the day, and that's Mr. Dion Jones. Dion, we don't get to talk to you much here, bud, but a solid 13th place, up 4 spots on the day. Looked like you kept that car as clean as you could and had a pretty good run.
Yeah, long-time listener, first-time visitor. Biggest thing is just to keep it out of the wall, like you said.
Well, next week's going to be a rhythm track, Dion. I mean, Richmond can be pretty tricky. I mean, being its weird D shape and everything and being as short as it is that a track you've had much success at? If not, you're going to put some practice in. I know it's not the easiest pit road to get onto either.
No, I haven't had a lot of practice or racing there, so I'm definitely going to be putting in some time between now and then, that's for sure.
Well, we don't get to talk too much, but we're here with you. What do you think about Richmond next week, and anybody you want to give a shout-out to or anything?
Richmond, I think, like you said, it's going to be a rhythm track, and probably the biggest thing is staying out of the wall again.
Awesome, man. Well, Dion, again, congratulations being on the lucky driver here tonight. Before we let you go, you got any shout-outs or anything like that?
Oh, I want to give shout-out to my teammates there, Earl and Jonathan. Always talking with them during the race, and we're giving each other help on, who's coming, who's not, all that kind of stuff. So, big team playing tonight.
Awesome, man. Well, congrats on the little bonus here, and look forward to seeing what you can do next week.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
It's good to talk to Dion, man. We talk him up on the track, and it's so much fun to watch that Ford machine run out there. And Good to actually talk to the man.
Yeah, he has improved a lot. And
Yeah.
rough night tonight, but we can see the improvement with him.
Well, let's talk to someone who didn't have a rough night. That's the 728 of Mr. Timothy Pope, bringing it home to victory lane once again here at Charlotte. Tim, congratulations on the win here, bud. And man, it definitely wasn't easy. You had to fight your way for it, and especially coming out of that last pit stop, man, setting fastest lap after fastest lap. We got to go check and make sure none of those are world records or anything, man, because you were absolutely flying.
Yeah, I put the hammer down those last few laps. I tried to run them back down. I was able to catch them there.
Somebody had made the comment up here in the booth. I don't remember who it was, but saying, man, how long is Tim going to stay out there? Because, he's losing time each lap he's going around out there and not coming in and taking tires. Because Jess came in, what, 10 laps or so ahead of you? And I thought, man, he might be hurting himself here, but it ended up being the smart move because you were able to run him down pretty quick.
Yeah, I think he come in around 5 laps for around lap 25, and I come on at 20. I was going to go at 15, but since he pitted earlier, I decided to pit a few laps earlier. So I knew I had about a 5-second gap, so I knew about 4 or 5 laps after I'd probably come out pretty close to him. I'd been able to run him down, but I didn't realize the other guys were that far ahead.
Well, we got Richmond next week. What do you think about that track? Then the All-Star race and qualifier, which is going to be cool at Talladega. Can you talk about those at all?
Yeah, I haven't run Richmond a whole lot. I bought it, but I never really ran it. By the time I did run, I think I spun out so many times I just quit because it's so free there. And I'm looking forward to the All-Star race for sure.
Well, man, we look forward to seeing you race out there next week and the upcoming weeks thereafter. Before we let you go, Tim, you got any shout-outs?
Oh, yeah, Limitless Motorsports. We did pretty good again tonight. Vigilante Racing, you guys for the broadcast.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate it, and good luck next week and the remainder of this season here, Tim.
Thank you.
Well, I haven't been able to figure out Richmond in a couple of years, but I bet it'll take Tim Pope about 10 minutes to figure it out and get his rhythm and his line, and he'll be like, all right, I'm good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, how many times have we heard him say, yeah, I don't have the track. I guess I better go buy it and put some practice in. And
yeah, that cat's an alien, I'm telling you.
Sure enough, he goes out there and puts down some heck of a race. But talk about the race in action we saw out here tonight at Charlotte. We went flag to flag, like an official flag to flag, not even in early caution like we've seen here this season. It was, once we took that green, it stayed green the entire way, all 133 laps. And those were 133 action-packed laps with the pitting and everything, and I think all these drivers did a heck of a job here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was put on a show, kind of what you want to see. What I call the crown jewel is Charlotte. Beautiful track, especially at night. I'm glad they ran it at night. It made it a little more sticky and a little more fun.
Yes, sir. So as we wind things down here tonight, we'll go on ahead and talk about our final finishing order here. As I click the correct button, as Timothy Pope walks away, one of the few multi-winners we have here this season, winning this one over Jess Vaught, coming up in second here once again, but still solid run there for that 33, up a couple spots to finish there in second. You also have Jim Ott, who had a solid race, up 5 spots on the day for that 205, finishing in third with a 244. Jason Ayrton, we haven't seen him much this season, but a very impressive showing up there in fourth here tonight. Mike Adamson just beats out that Limitless teammate of Jeremiah Burke, here, finishing with a solid top 5 finish, with that 753 of Burke finishing in 6th, up 9 spots on the day. Austin Paul had a great night there himself with the 3 car, able to finish in 7th. Albert Anderson having another solid night, man. He has upped his game this season, bringing that 2 home with a top 10 8th place finish. Jonathan Osborne, hard charger of the day, up 11 spots to finish here in 9th, with Jeff Ottinger Man, that 76, he seems to be right around that top 10 spot just about each and every single week, and he definitely earned it here tonight, rounding out tonight's top 10.
Yeah, Eric Klafka also finishing one lap down, not really where he wanted to finish tonight. Slipped a couple spots, finishing in 11th. Chandler Paul in the 72, finished right where he started, right there in 12th place. Dion Jones, we just got to talk to him. Good to talk to Dion. Up a few spots, solid finish. First car 2 laps down. Also 2 laps down, the 222 of Polk Sally's Tony Polk. Started back in 19th. Good job making up a few spots there. Chad McCabe moved up a few spots too. I don't think we mentioned him during the broadcast. He finished 6 laps down, but finished up quite a few spots. So good deal, Chad in the 211, finishing where he did. Derek Welch in the 208, finishing in 16th place. Greg Dobson in the 285 slipped a few spots. He'll finish 8 laps down in 17th place. 18th place will go to Russ Endicott in the 57. Mark Collins in the 223. I'm sorry, down 10 spots to finish in 19th, 20 laps down. And rounding out your top 20, his teammate from Numb Thumbs Racing, the 267 of Nathan Stanley.
Yeah, number 7, Russ Kilgore had an incident, kind of slowed him down. He was running up front early. Ended up 21st, rough night for him. Looks like 13 Earl Evans had kind of a similar deal, rough night. And 221 and David Fight didn't look like he even showed up. Might have started parked the thing. That's it.
Yeah, and that is it. We thank you all for tuning in and watching like you all do each and every single week. We definitely appreciate you all just as much as we appreciate the proud sponsors that we like to talk about during the race, but when we get races like this, it's hard to talk about them. That's D&D Race Graphix. That's spelled Grafix. Find them on Trading Paints and on Facebook. Reach out to Ricky there to get yourself a good quality paint job done, as he does a fantastic job on these any of these NASCAR cars, whether it's the Xfinity, the trucks, or the Cup cars. Even seen some of his dirt stuff. He puts a lot of work into those things to make them look good, and man, do they ever. But not only that, but go support his real life business of Keller Williams of Johnson City, Tennessee. Give Ricky a call at 423-444-0454 if you're looking to buy or sell a house in that Johnson City, Tennessee area or across the country. Give him a call and he can help you out either personally or get you in contact with a professional realtor that you know you can trust. And all of that stuff just goes back to help out this league, man, because this housing market is crazy with all the prices and stuff. And man, don't do it alone. Get yourself a good quality realtor and support your friends of the broadcast and of these racers and the league. So with that, we look forward to seeing you all here coming up at Richmond. And just a reminder that pretty much we're about 2.5 weeks away from the start of another league that we're picking up here. Proud to pick up the Numb Thumbs Racing League. That's going to be starting up here at the beginning of August. Same thing with the HCK Beagle. So we're going to have 5 days of racing action here live before you know it. So make sure you hit that like, follow, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on whatever platform you're watching on so you know whenever we come live on the air and you don't miss a single beat of the amazing action that you see here each and every single weeknight that we're here. So until then, I'm Alan Brown for Alan English and Adam Turner. We're signing off for tonight, everybody. Have a great one.
We gone.
See ya.